All right, grab your coffee, sit down, and relax. And in this video, we're going to be diving into this tool that I created called LeadReels.ai. I've got about 45 minutes. It's about 7:18 a.m. before my kids wake up. So hopefully I'll get it done within then. I'm going to go pretty deep here into AI generated UGC style video. UGC style stands for user generated content. And the whole goal of this is to create UGC style AI video ads specifically for lead gen. If you're an e-commerce selling physical products, I don't think this video is for you. But if you're in lead gen, generating leads on Meta, TikTok, wherever, or even just generating content for social, this video will help you. So we want to create these video ads using AI, but the key is we do not want them to look or sound like AI. So the reason why I created this tool, the reason why I went down this path is I've been doing more testing with AI generated UGC style video ads. And I've been getting the best results with ads that feel more human. Even if they're really short, the ads that feel the most human drive the most engagement. And I'll go into why I think that is and some of my observations and some of my opinions on this. But that ultimately led me down the path of trying to figure out how to create these ads as easily and cheaply as possible, which ultimately led to this tool, LeadReels.ai. So the intent of this video is I originally created it I originally set out to create what I'm creating now to provide an overview into how to use this, because I plan to share this out with a whole bunch of people, and I want some sort of demo into how to actually use the thing. Because even though I've made it pretty easy to create these videos, if you do not prompt it correctly and if you do not use it properly, you can still generate AI slop. And that's what we want to avoid. So this video, the intent behind it is to have a quick and scrappy video just that walks through how to use it. And you will see how to use it at the end of the video. But while creating it, since I have some time before my kids wake up, I figured I would go pretty deep on the whole concept of AI. I will redo this whole video at another time. I do not plan to go through and clean up the video, so all my mistakes will be in here. You might want to put me on 1.5 or 2x. I think I talk pretty fast to begin with, but I apologize in advance if this gets pretty long and if I sometimes ramble. Let's dive into things. I will try to keep this as focused as possible. So the intro, we just dove into that. I want to discuss the problem that I'm finding with most AI video tools, and ultimately the key to creating high quality AI video. And that's what then led me to creating the tool that we're talking about today called LeadReels.ai to solve my own problem so I could quickly and rapidly scale production of my AI generated UGC style content to drive better results. So higher engagement, lower CPCs, and better overall ROI on my ad campaigns. Then I will give you a quick tour of LeadReels and the way that I'm kind of shaping this and positioning it to be specifically for lead gen. Then I'll actually walk through how to create a video, prompting, all of that type of stuff in real time. So you'll get to see me. Hopefully everything works fine, and I think it should because I've been using it and haven't had any issues based on what I've set up here. But if I fail, you get to see me fall on my face and fail. And then we will go a step further, and I'll show you how to add captions and edit it and do a bunch of different stuff like that. First, let's just dive into the problem with AI video tools. And I think before we even do that, actually, let's start out with why create UGC style videos to begin with. And I think it's because these types of videos, well, let's just start with the types of videos. It's like these types that you sometimes see in Facebook ads. I'm seeing a lot of these now. So let's see.
That was a scam at first, but I checked, and burial plans are very real, affordable, and respectful. Get your family much needed financial relief.
So this feels like
if you're in
one
good
of these
health
ads.
and are between 50 to 80 years old, you should take a look. No pushy calls, no lies, just honest help. It was a scam at first, but I checked, and burial plans are very real.
If this is AI, which I think it is,
get your family much needed
it's not too bad,
relief when you pass.
but the
If you're in
voice is
good
off.
health and are between 50 to 80 years old, you should take a look. No pushy calls, No lies. Scam at first.
And if
But I
you look
checked,
at these ads for
and burial
long enough,
plans are very real.
you start to see
Affordable,
repetitive
and
motion that just
respectful.
doesn't feel
Get your
natural.
family much needed financial relief when you pass. If you're in good health and are between 50 to 80
Like
years
the way
old,
she's moving her
you should take a
arms
look.
is not
No pushy
natural.
calls,
This
no
isn't the worst
lies,
one that I've
just
seen though.
honest
So you'll
help.
see a lot of ads like that.
Now I know my kids
And then,
won't be
so
left
that's
with the
in the
bill
final
when I
expense
pass.
space.
You
I'm
can
trying
do
to
the same.
pause this thing.
That was a scam at first,
Just,
but I checked.
okay, so let's look at, I have another one. If you look at solar, just looking at that vertical, tons of these ads. So these ads are being used a ton. They're easy and fast to create once you get a good system in place. You do not need to hire people to create the ads, so you can save a ton of money. To give you an idea, arcades, I believe is the way you say that, they are about, I think their most basic plan, their base level plan, starts at $100 per month, and I think you get 10 videos, so it's about $10 per video. Now that seems expensive, but I mean, paying a person to sit there and shoot a video could be double, triple, quadruple that. So it is much cheaper to do this at scale using tools like Arcades. And Arcades has been one of the higher quality tools that I found. So I've tested a whole ton of these. HeyGen is one. But so far, it seems like Arcades has produced the best results. Even then, I wasn't happy with the results and ended up going down the path of figuring out a better way to do this. So that leads me to the next point, the problem with most of these AI videos that I'm seeing. And just some examples. So I'll share a couple of examples that I created with HeyGen and Arcades here. And let's just take a look at them. So this one was created with HeyGen. This one's not too bad, but
the link here so you can
I'll just play it real quick. So this was created in the mortgage space. This one drove some leads.
If you're a homeowner, you know your home is one of your most valuable assets.
So the issue here is the background looks fake. It's blurred out, it looks too polished. He looks a little bit too polished, and his voice sounds like AI.
Whether you want to renovate or buy a second home, curious, equity levels are still near record highs, so it's a great time to pull some cash out. The best part is you don't need to change your mortgage rate to access your equity.
Now the nice thing about this, you'll see that it was created with HeyGen. His lips seem like they're pretty synced up to the voice.
With a home equity loan. I'll include
So it's really not that bad.
a link here so you
And the thing that I like about HeyGen is you can create long videos
can
with
see
it.
how much estimated money is available to you and your options.
But the inflection of his voice isn't right. It's all voice. I think that's the issue with this. And I think people are getting better at spotting these types of videos, not just by the way they look, but by the way they sound. So that's one example. Here's another one. This was created in the Arcades platform, and this one I was really unhappy with, and this was my worst performing ad. And it's a testament to the fact that just using these types of ads doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get good results. This produced terribly for me, and it's actually fine here from the top up. Whoop, that's not what I was going for. There should be a little pencil thing. So it was fine from the top up, but watch his hand here and watch the motion. And I actually had to import it into this tool because I was trying to clip it out, but I was struggling. And this cost me $10 to create, and I wasn't happy with the
Your
result.
home is one of your most valuable assets. Whether you want to renovate or buy a second home, equity levels are still near
Watch his
record
hand.
highs. So it's a great time to pull some
I don't know
cash
what
out.
that
I'll
motion
include a link
is.
here so you can see how
I
much
tried to cut
estimated
it
money
out.
is available to
It
you
happened 4
using this free
times.
calculator from Tap My Mortgage.
Like, nobody does that. And then you're telling me that you're going to run an ad, or someone's going to run an ad. I see people do this all the time, where someone has these crazy motions like this
Now, I'll
going back
include a
and
link
forth,
here so
and
you can see
people
how much
aren't going to
estimated
see
money is
through that
available to you.
and lose trust. I mean, maybe that works now, but in a year or two, people are going to continue to see through this, and it's going to degrade trust, which is going to drop engagement, increase CPCs. You get the point. So the goal is, how do we make these ads as human as possible? And then just to show you another example here, if I can find it. This one had good engagement, lower click-throughs, higher click-throughs, lower CPCs, but she seems extremely unnatural. And this ad was created in the Arcades platform. So I've had at least 2 that I just showed you where I spent $20 for that. I wasn't really happy with the outcome.
If you're a homeowner, you know your home is one of...
Now, the things to pay attention to. Watch her face. It starts to, at the bottom, contort a little bit in a way that's not natural as she's talking, and the voice.
...of your most valuable assets. Whether you want to renovate...
If you look here, she like twitched funny.
...most valuable assets. Whether...
Now, I know people aren't watching these ads on repeat, but the human mind and the subconscious picks up on these things really easy.
Whether you want to renovate or buy a second home, equity level...
I had to add B-roll footage in here to try to break it up, because if I just have her talking, it's really clear that it's not human, and the perceived quality of the ad I felt like really dropped. So a quick trick here, if you do have these ads, if you generate one and it feels like it's not really that human, just add clips in throughout and just break it up.
...levels are still near record highs, so it's a great time to pull some cash out. The best part is, you don't need to change your mortgage rate to access your equity with a home equity loan. You're about to see right there.
So
I'll include a link here so you can...
Right here, her face moved in one of the most unnatural ways that I've ever seen an AI-generated face move. Watch her cheeks. I don't understand what's happening here.
...change your mortgage rate to access your equity with a home equity loan. I'll include a link here.
And then her
so
head kind of bobbled weird, like it's going to fall off her shoulders. So there's just issues like that, and that's consistent across all these tools that I'm using. And then let's just compare here with the videos that I've created with LeadReels. So we'll go with, this was one of the very first ones that I created. This was my first attempt, and it came out pretty good. Notice as I play this, let's just go with this one. The background, there's motion behind her. It feels like she's just in her car talking to you. The downside is, for some reason, she's in the driver's seat, so that's not that great, but...
Hey guys, so we were trying to figure out how to fund a big home renovation, and a friend
her
said,
eyes are
why
looking
not tap
around,
into your home
her
equity?
head's
Turns out we had all this
turning
cash
in a
just sitting
natural
in
way.
our home's value. We used it, and boom, renovation
She kind of
funded.
looks
Super
down.
easy.
All
If
this
you're
feels
wondering how much
natural. And that is what you want to go for. Here's another version of that same one. And notice you can even see the background moving behind her as she's driving.
Hey guys, so we were trying to figure out how to fund a big home renovation, and a friend said, why not tap into your home equity? Turns out we had all this cash just sitting in our home's value. We used it, and boom, renovation fund.
And then here's another one that I thought was pretty good. Now this one is more like a front-facing, I guess, like selfie approach. But notice the room behind him. It just looks like he's sitting in like a living room. And then if you look at this one here, let's see. This room looks like too polished. And people resonate with things that feel more human. And I think when we think about a human UGC style video, the human side is more than just the way the person looks. It's the way the person sounds. It's the background around the person. It's the imperfections. Imperfections are what make something human. This is too perfect. Aside from the fact that he's kind of wrinkly, it's still too perfect. So then we go to this one. This one feels less perfect. Now he's still put together, like it still looks fine, but it feels less perfect.
We were trying to fund a big home renovation, and a friend
Even
said,
the wrinkles
why
in
not
his
tap into
forehead
home
are
equity?
moving up.
Turns out we had cash just sitting in our home's value. We used it. Renovation funded. Super easy.
So not
You
so
want to see how much
good.
equity you have? Check out Tap My More.
Here's one where I was even able to change his voice to sound more southern, because in my mind, a guy wearing a plaid shirt on a nice sunny day talking about solar is probably from the southwestern part of the U.S. or southeastern part of the U.S. Clearly, I do not know my geography.
Quick heads up for homeowners. I didn't realize how much I was overpaying for electricity until I checked solar.
And I feel like his
Savings
voice kind of
surprised me.
matches his face. So, and then here's just another one.
Accidents happen in seconds, and they're not always your fault.
So this one, here's another key thing. When it comes to these AI generated videos, having motion in the background and something moving around helps a ton. So watch how, let me refresh. And I want you to see how the traffic light goes from green to red. So right now it's green and he's going to start talking.
Accidents happen in seconds, and they're not always your
And it
fault.
went red.
If another driver caused your
Arcades
crash,
hasn't
you may
given me
be
that
entitled
effect.
to compensation.
HeyGen hasn't
Find
given me
out
that
today.
effect. there's even one point where I think I saw a person walking behind. In this case, this person, again, this doesn't look like a perfect ad. This looks like a mom who just had a baby, who's tired. This is pretty much what I looked like when my son was born.
Our family's growing, and this house is feeling really small.
The baby's moving a little bit. So you could just see that there's a lot that goes into creating ads that feel human. Which leads me to, where are we here? So we talked about the keys. Okay, so we discussed a lot of problems that I'm seeing with these ads. And ultimately, when I create ads that feel more human, and again, there's a lot to kind of unpack behind what human is, but when you create these ads that feel more human, you get better engagement. And even though people aren't sitting there nitpicking ads when they see them in the feed, there's a lot of subconscious stuff that's happening. And again, people's eyes and hearing are getting more trained at picking out these AI generated videos. So the key, we discussed a lot of the keys. Now, how to do this? Well, as I said, I went down the rabbit hole. I had a lot of time over Christmas break to just kind of dive into things in the morning before my kids woke up. And I ended up discovering that you can get the same high quality videos that I just showed you using Sora 2. Sora is, I guess it's the, I don't know how to describe it. It is the video tool from OpenAI. So it's like the ChatGPT of videos. And you can come in here and prompt it however you want. The problem with it is, I've already been talking for too long. The problem with it is every video that you generate with Sora and then download has a watermark. You'll see it here. And it's not something that's easy to get rid of because it just kind of bounces around. So I thought that I pretty much nailed it and figured out like the best way to generate these things. Went in and canceled my arcade subscription, canceled my HeyGen subscription. Not knowing about the watermark, I downloaded the video that I created, which was actually very similar to this one, and then was disappointed to find out that I couldn't figure out how to get rid of the watermark. That then led me down the path of figuring out, okay, how do I use Sora still and do it in an environment where I do not get a watermark attached to the video. That then led me to using the Sora 2 API. And then I eventually just connected this all to a single platform. And then as I continued to build this out, I started to think, okay, well, I now have this workflow and I'm creating these ads at a fraction of the cost of what the different tools out there cost. And I'm doing this so I can move faster, scale faster, test faster. And I'm doing this with higher quality production and higher quality people in these videos. So then I start thinking, okay, well, how can I begin to shape this tool in a way where it's purposely built for the needs of lead gen? And then that ultimately led this whole LeadReels idea to kind of come together, where unlike Sora, which is more like general purpose, like you could see a cat, a monkey, some guy laughing, a mouse, everything here is being built around the use case of lead generation and creating these videos for lead gen. So that's ultimately, I think, one of the things that makes what this is extremely powerful. So I think that's ultimately why I ended up building LeadReels. And originally it was just a tool that I had for myself. And then I thought, well, a lot of people might want to use this. So then I threw up a site, branded it, and made it easy for people to get in here and create these video ads. Now I want to get into the features and how to use it, some of the benefits here, and we'll just dive into things. The first thing I want to note, there's one downside to this whole approach, and it's that right now, these videos are limited to a max of 12 seconds. So everything, the prompt needs to be on point, and you can't really have videos that are longer than that. Now, I think that will change soon, especially as the Sora 2 API gets updated. I think eventually we could go to 15 to 20 seconds, but 12 seconds is max. Now, there's things you could do where you can create a 12-second video and then another 12-second video and combine them together, but for now, 12 seconds is max, so just keep that in mind. At first, I didn't like that, but through testing, I kind of found 12 seconds is actually kind of good, especially with people having a limited attention span. You just need to get the hook there and the message, and then the rest kind of takes care of itself. So you don't really need videos that are too much longer, but I do see a use case for having long videos, and I think the day will eventually come where that's possible. Now, if you're a lead capture user, let's just talk about the benefits. If you're using leadcapture.io, you get some benefits here. The first is that you get some free credits to get started with. The second is pricing at $2 per video or $2 per credit. If you're not a lead capture customer, it's $5 per video, which is still 50% cheaper than these guys. So you're still saving a bunch of money, and it's purpose built for lead gen and has some specific features. Where did it go? And has some specific features like the ability to do some clip in here. So like if you need to clip out like the first part, you can request refunds for bad generations, instant download with no watermark, so better than just using Sora 2 or the Sora app. Again, if you're a leadcapture.io user, you're getting it for 60% cheaper than a general user. So that's just the benefit that I wanted to give to anyone who's using lead capture, plus some free credits. And I think I'll also build out some more features over time, like the ability to add captions into this, so on and so forth. But let's take a look here at some of the features. So when you come in, you see the feed. Now this is kind of cool. So there's this community feed. It's called the video feed. You'll see it down here. And people have the choice for whether or not they want to share their video to the feed. So let's say that you create a video that you like. You have your library here, and maybe you want to share it. You can click here on, is there one that I don't have? Here, let's unshare this one. So let's say you just create this one and you want to share it with the rest of the LeadReels community. You would click this little share button and then click share, and now it is available on the feed. And then if we look at the feed, which also appears on the homepage, you will see the video, and it also includes the username of the person who created it for credit. So I don't really know the use case behind the part about giving people credit. I thought that would just be cool to do, but maybe there's something where it's a way to get more exposure to your brand if you are a marketer who deals with clients, and or maybe like backlinks, like we could link to your website or something like that. There could be some sort of play there for people. But at the very least, things show up in this feed. The ultimate goal is to make it easy for people to see what others are creating and to get inspired. And then maybe we'll figure out some way to incentivize people as more people start to use this, to create this community feed, and then people get rewarded for sharing their examples and their work. And then the other thing too here, I forgot about this, is that there's this remix feature. So let's say that you're browsing the feed and you're like, oh, I really like this feed here. I like this video here of this person. Let's go with this one with this mortgage broker because I forget what this one's about. I like this one with this mortgage broker. I want to create one just like this. Well, first, you can like it to let the person know that you like it, and they'll actually get a message saying that you liked it. But then you can remix it. So you click remix. And now just put that entire prompt right inside of LeadReels prompt section. And then you can choose how long you want it to be. You can change the prompt if you'd like. And then it's going to create a very similar video. Now, it's not going to be exactly the same. It will not be the same person, even if you use this exact same prompt. But it will create something similar. So, again, the idea behind the feed, and I think this is where it gets kind of powerful, is as people come in here and as they start to share their videos for inspiration, people can come in and then also remix the videos and turn them into slightly the same video, just with some variance in terms of how it looks. Or they could take it and use it as a starting point, but tweak the script and tweak it for their own use case. Now, you do not have to share your videos here. As I showed you, the only way that the video gets here is if you opt in for it to show up. And again, I think it'd be really cool if we could find a way to reward people for having their videos shared and used. So that's something I'll think through at some point, especially as we get feedback for this. So that's the video feed, and that's my favorite feature, so I just wanted to start there. I also like how you can take some of these videos and remix them, and I think at the very least what I'll do is start to create templates, and then there's going to be all these templates, and you can come in and just remix a template into your own thing. So now I'm going to touch on create a video, and then my prompts, video library. I'll just quickly touch on these, and then let's actually create something here from start to finish. So the create a video page is where you actually create the video. So you could have, if there's something that you want to reference, like a person, and you want the person in the video to look like, I guess the person, it could very well be you or someone that you work with. You could upload their picture. I haven't tried this yet, so I don't know what the results would look like. I'd imagine that there'd be a lot of variance in the result there. The prompt here is where you want to spend your most time, and it's really key that you get the prompt right and that you're as detailed as possible. That's what I found works the best. And if you were to just enter in like something kind of vague, you might not get great results. So because of that, I created a way to come up with prompts, kind of like a prompt builder here, to make it as easy as possible to create a prompt. I'll walk through that in a moment. But one thing I want to highlight here is once you create a prompt and use it, it gets saved in the system. You just have to hit the command key, and then you should see your saved prompts or recently used prompts. Now, I only see one, so that's a bug that I have to fix. I'll have a whole list here, but you will see your recently used prompts right here. So you just hit the / key, boom, your prompt's right there. So once you use a prompt, you should always have access to the prompt. You also have the prompt here. I'll walk through that in a moment. You can tag things, so I'll typically try to tag them because when you go into your library, you can search per tag. Currently, this is the model that we're using. Duration's a max of 12 seconds right now. Hopefully that will change soon. And then you can choose the different size for the video type. I typically just go with 9:16 for meta generate. It then generates it. And then once you generate the video, you can remix it and create another video like the video that you generated. You can share it to the feed. You can download it. You can flag it if you do not like the quality of the video. You can request a refund. Now, if you simply do not like it because maybe you didn't like the prompt and you messed up on that side, we aren't going to give you a refund for that because it does cost us money to generate these. But if it's a situation where the output is terrible, like something happened during the generation, maybe it fails, maybe it's just terrible and you get the completely wrong thing. Like there was one that I tried to generate, which was 2 cars crashing and the cars were floating. And that's something where we would give you a refund. So you could submit a refund and then we would get the request and process it. And then you can delete. You can also clip videos. I think that option's in the video library, so let's go there. So once you create the videos, they all show up in the library. There's tags that I showed you, the tagging feature. You can sort by tags. And then if you click on a video, let's say that in this one he actually said something at the beginning that wasn't part of the prompt. I don't know how that happened, but we added in this clip feature that allows you to just clip out either the beginning or the end of the video. So I clipped out like the first couple seconds, and you'll see that it says trimmed. And then I could even restore the original if I wanted to. You can preview the trim. So it's pretty nice that you can do that right inside the UI. So here's the video library, not too much more to show there, but all your videos will show up in a library. And then there is the My Prompt section. And one thing I forgot to mention here is this whole thing is pay as you go. So there's no subscription. You're basically just buying credits. So you come in here and buy as many credits as you need. The credits don't go away until you use them. And again, if you're a leadcapture.io user, you get some free credits. And then it's pay as you go. So we're not really charging a subscription for you to store the video, for you to get access to all these features. It's just, again, pay as you go, and there is a little bit of markup on the credits, but that's for us to cover things like our costs to even host the data here, to build this whole thing, and to also handle like all the back-end cost and some taxes and stuff like that. So where were we here? Prompts. So the key to this is not just using Sora, but also the way you prompt it. And this is something that I had to spend some time on, which was engineering the prompt to produce a high quality result. And currently we have one default prompt, because this is the main one that I've been using, but I think I'll add in more prompts as I discover what's possible. I feel like there's a whole world here of possibilities I haven't even discovered myself. So as we discover what works from a prompting perspective, I'll continue to build out different types of prompts. You'll see that I have this as just prompt outline general. So you come in here, actually I think what we'll do is walk through an example, and then I will show you how to actually use this. That's when we get into the how to use it part. But you can create a prompt, and then once you create and save a prompt, it gets saved in your library here, and you can come in and change a prompt. You can clone a prompt. You can delete a prompt. If we wanted to use, let's say, this solar video prompt, I could click into it, and I could say use in video generator, and then boom, it's right there in the create video section, and it's just about ready to go. And all we have to do is click generate video, or change it, or do whatever we need to do to it. All right, so we're at the 31-minute mark. My kids are going to be waking up soon. This video is getting long enough. I'm really sorry about that, but there's a lot that I wanted to show here, and we could keep going. So let's end with the tour of how all of this works. We're going to start with a tactic here around how to quickly identify, I want to say winning scripts to use, but I don't really know like what's performing well here. I'm sure I could go and use another ad intelligence tool to try to figure that out. But a tactic that I'd like to use is kind of like, it's a play on Russell Brunson's idea of funnel hacking. It's ad hacking. And what we're going to do is use this purely for inspiration. I do not like copying. I do not condone that. But I will go and find an ad that I like, and I'll record it on my phone or in Loom. I can't use Loom because I have Loom running. I'll take the transcript, throw it into ChatGPT, and modify it a bit. So this ad that I like here, let's just go with a final expense ad. We're going to create a final expense ad that's AI generated with LeadReels. And listen to this one. This is very focused on like B-roll footage, but I want a person of this. But I'll show you why I like this ad in a moment. Let's just play it.
When Dad died, we were hit with a $24,000 funeral bill. We had to take out loans just to lay him to rest, which isn't what he would have.
Okay, I'll stop it there. So the angle that I like is they're leading in with the angle of the kid talking. So I'm going to put in, like, the way that I'll set this up is the ad is going to be a younger girl who's talking about her dad dying, using this a similar script. I was about to say the exact same, but we're not copying here. Using a similar script, and it will be, again, from the perspective of a child, because I feel like that will drive a lot of engagement since it's kind of pulling on the heartstrings of an older person who's potentially watching it, or even someone's kid. Because if I was seeing this, I might tell my parents about final expense insurance. So I'm going to open up, you can't see what I'm doing right now because I'm not recording, or I'm not on video, but let me open up the voice memo. So I'm just on my iPhone, and I'm going to play this. It's a bit long, so I also need to cut it down to 12 seconds. I'll get to that in a moment. So I don't know if you are aware of this, but on the voice memos feature on an iPhone, you can record a memo, and then it actually transcribes it. So I'm hitting record.
When Dad died, we were hit with a $24,000 funeral bill. We had to take out loans just to lay him to rest, which isn't what he would have wanted. The stress of debt made our grief even harder. I wish he'd known about this final expense program. It could have saved us from this financial nightmare. If you're over 40, please consider signing up for this. It is completely free to see what you qualify for. If anything, do this for your family.
I mean, I think that's an amazing ad. I don't know though. There's many times I think an ad's great and then I go and test it and it flops. But I think that's great. And if you are a lead capture user and you're the one who created this ad and you're watching this, I really apologize for using this as the example. I don't really know half the time like who's a lead capture user or not, and I haven't inspected this funnel yet. But yeah, so let's go. So I have the transcript, and then I'm going to pause this and send it to myself just so I don't take up too much time, and then I'll come back once I get the transcript opened up in ChatGPT. All right, I'm back. So I have the transcript here from my iPhone, just dropped it in ChatGPT. We'll talk about this in a moment. Now let's go back to LeadReels. And so there's a couple things here. First, we need to create the video prompt. But instead of just writing it in, I'm going to use the prompt section. So this is where we're going to first create a prompt. And the thing that I want to note here is the prompt section is simply creating the prompt that's going to go in here. And the prompt is more than just the script. The script is only one little part of it. The prompt includes the character, or I forget what we call in the prompt, we call them the subject. So it includes the subject, the way the subject should look, the camera and framing, the performance direction, the voice, all of that stuff is part of the prompt. So if you just take a script and drop a script in when you're creating the video, then you're probably going to get a bad result. And again, this is why I'm creating this whole video to begin with, to try to show you how to get the most out of this. So we need to get the prompt right, but we also need to get the script right. And we do not have a way to generate a script yet. Maybe what I'll do at some point is create an open API connection, and then we'll just like integrate ChatGPT into this box, and then you could have it AI generated as well. But we're not there yet. I haven't done that just because there's costs there that I have to figure out. So for now, what I would suggest doing, if you do not want to think as that much, use ChatGPT and just come up with a script. Or do what I did and find an ad video that seems like it's doing pretty well and model it. Don't copy it outright, just model it. Throw it into ChatGPT. So what I did in here is I said, I want you to create a 12-second variation of this ad copy because again, I don't want to outright copy them. For a final expense ad in Meta, I'm also just going to say here that's coming from the kid's perspective, or it's from the child's perspective. And I'm just saying keep it to 12 seconds max. And then let's see what it gives us. And by the way, I'm using ChatGPT 5.2, and this has been pretty good at producing scripts for me. So it says when Dad passed, we were left with a $24,000 funeral bill. We had to take out loans just to say goodbye. I wish he'd known about final expense coverage. If you're over 40, check what you qualify for. It's free. Do it for your family. Now let's compare that. If when Dad died, we were hit with $24,000. I'm actually going to pause and compare. So the thing that I'll say about this one, it's doing a little bit better getting into like the pain of it, and maybe there's a way to modify this to get into this part, like the stress and debt made the grief even harder. So I might even want to replace, so that's where you can start to play with things. But let's also just create a few different variations. So now I'm just saying get further away from the original version, but play into the pain more, because I also wanted to start thinking a little bit outside of what we used. When Dad died, the grief wasn't the worst part. It was the funeral bill. $24,000 we didn't have, loans just to bury him. I wish he protected us. That's intense. Losing my dad hurt, but watching my mom cry over funeral bills hurt more. So this is really playing into like the debt. When Dad passed, the bills came fast. $24,000 for a funeral. We had no choice but loans. The stress never goes away. If you're over 40, see what final expense you qualify for. It's free. I do like how they're saying do it for your family. So then I'm going to I'm overthinking this now, but I'm just going to say, whoops. So I created a few more versions. I just wanted to blend in the part about doing it for your family to emphasize that. I think we're going to go with this. When Dad passed, the bills came fast, $24,000 for a funeral. We went into debt to bury him. The stress leaves your family. The stress never leaves your family. If you're over 40, check the final expense. It's free. Please do it for your family. I don't know if that will be 12 seconds, but let's see. I'll probably cut out the it's free part just to save. So paste that into the script section. Okay, so that's the script. Now we need to go through, and I'll just give it a name. Length, 12 seconds. There's also options for 15 to 20 seconds, but just keep it to 12 because that's all we have right now. These are just parts of the prompt that will get added into the create video section. The style here, so you can change the style. I would just leave it as this. Authentic UGC style video. I do not know what other style types are possible yet. I haven't really explored that. This is just what I found that worked. I would recommend just keeping it like this as paid social, Facebook, Instagram, just so it has that context. Now let's get into the subject, the on-screen part. So this, again, is where you need to do some thinking. And I would think that this would be a nice place for us to have ChatGPT integrate it. But now I'm going to jump back into ChatGPT and I'm going to say, let's see here. So I'm just prompting it now to think through the subject and the scene. There's really a lot that you have to think into the scene, the location, that you have to think about when it comes to the scene and the location. So I'm just using ChatGPT to help speed things up. And as you can see here, it's moving a little bit slow, but sometimes it gives you a prompt. So I'll take pieces of the prompt and paste it into the prompt. Or if you just want to bypass this whole prompt part, you could just have it create a prompt for you and add the prompt to the prompt section in the create video. You don't necessarily need to use the prompt that I have set up here. So let's go with this. So you'll remove all that and then just paste it all in there. So female, 30 to 35 years old, natural everyday look, no heavy makeup, relatable adult daughter, slightly tired eyes, calm emotional presence, dressed casually, no visible logos. Oh wait, I'm doing this in the scene. Subject. Okay, so female, let's go with 30 to 35 years old. Ethnicity, I'll just go with Caucasian for now. Okay, appearance. There's also one for clothing. And then personality. So I'm just taking some pieces of this and adding it in as well. No other appearance notes. Okay, now we need to do the environment. So there's a lot of different directions we could go with the environment. It would be interesting to test one at a funeral home. But let's just go with the living room. Because I think, as ChatGPT is highlighting, this is the most emotional. I don't really want to show a funeral home right now, so let's just go with this one. Scene, location description. Camera framing. So we're just going to stick with this front facing phone camera eye level framing. This is where I think you can get pretty creative in terms of the shot and the direction. I've just been sticking with this for now. Speaking pace, I'm going to go with slightly faster just to try to fit it into 12 seconds. You'll see that there's even voice accent. Let's just go with neutral American. Tone. Quiet, grounded, heavy, but controlled. Here, other performance notes. So sometimes ChatGPT just adds too much fluff and emojis. I just need this in a paragraph. So just told it to do that. So use calm, grounded delivery with no dramatic sales energy. Subject should sit slightly forward with relaxed shoulders, maintain eye contact, briefly glance down once. It'll be interesting to see if it actually gets all this. I think sometimes too, though, if you provide too much context, it can end up not doing well. There's the script. Just leave everything else, timing and guardrails. I haven't played with this too much, just leave that the same. And then style, we're just going to leave that the same. No awkward silence, no visible logos, no B-roll footage. Sometimes, if you're not careful, it will add in B-roll footage and clips, so you do not want it to do that. So now that we have the prompt set up here, we're going to click Save to Library. And then here's the prompt. If we look at it, I forgot to click Generate, but I don't think I had to. I could have clicked Use. I should have clicked Generate. That creates the preview. And I'll re-click Save to Library because I had messed up. So here is the prompt. You just want to make sure that everything you put in there is there. Click Use in Video Generator. When you click that, it takes you to create video and drops the prompt in. Now, again, you could just as easily come into ChatGPT and you could say, give me a Sora 2 prompt, copy that whole prompt and just paste it in. You do not need to necessarily use the My Prompt section. That's just me trying to make it as seamless as possible, and that's my workflow. I just use that prompt and I modify it like that. So we had the video specs, the camera, or the subject. So it took all of that and just dropped it right in here. The camera framing, performance. And again, you have that prompt in your prompt section so you can reuse it, even copy it. So it's all about like workflow efficiency. I do not want to be spending a lot of time creating these. And then we're going to tag this. I'll just tag this as final expense. And then model Sora to standard, duration 12 seconds, aspect ratio. This will be a vertical video. And then click generate. It's going to cost 1 credit. Let's see what we get. So when you click generate, you should see it show up here. And it's going to take a few minutes. So feel free to walk away, go do something else, and then come back, check in a few minutes, and it should be there for you to view. So I'll pause until this is done. One thing to note is as it's generating, sometimes it won't automatically refresh. So I'll just sometimes like refresh the screen like this. All right, we got it. So we started the generation at 8:11. It's 8:14. So it took about 2 to 3 minutes. Let's watch this here.
When my dad passed, the bills came fast. $24,000 for a funeral. We went into debt just to bury him. That stress never leaves your family. If you're over 40, check final expense. Please do it.
Okay, so overall, I think that's pretty good. The script, I guess, was a little bit long. The please do it part got cut off. I would still run with it, though. You could even remix it and then just cut down this script a little bit. But not bad. She even
When my
looked
dad
down.
passed, the bills came fast.
Like, watch this. She looks down.
$24,000 for a
Which we
funeral.
prompted her to do.
We went into debt just to bury him. That stress never leaves your family.
The other thing I like about this, I don't really like how the background's blurred. But I do like, if you look at the pictures, it almost looks like there's a subtle picture of her and possibly her dad. It's hard to tell there, just kind of reading into it. That's pretty interesting, the way that it... And I feel like the AI did a pretty good job of creating a video of someone who looks a little bit sad, tired, who's been defeated through going what she went through. This feels more real. It feels more human to me. I think there's improvements that could be made here, and that's where we would probably want to remix it and improve the timing of the script, probably cut it down a little bit, maybe improve some of the background, but I think that this is pretty good.
For 40, check final expense. Please do it.
So let's say that I didn't want the please do it part. Hold on, let's just listen to this one more
time. When my dad passed, the bills came fast. $24,000 for a funeral. We went into debt just to bury him. That stress never leaves your family. If you're over 40, check final expense. Please do it. When my dad passed,
So let's say that I don't want the please do it part. I could trim the video.
When my dad passed, the bills came fast. $24,000 for a funeral. We went into debt just to bury him. That stress never leaves your family. If you're over 40, check final expense.
Maybe that should say check your final expense. I don't really like that part, but whatever. That's just where I would probably remix it and then adjust the script. So you'll see I trimmed off the end by adjusting this bar here. I previewed it.
When my dad passed, the bills came fast. $24,000 for a funeral. We went into debt just to bury him. That stress never leaves your family. If you're over 40, check final expense.
Okay, so I'm also going to save, I'll share this now to the feed so anyone can use that and remix it and modify it. Now, let's say you want to take this one step further. Let's say you want captions. We do not have a captions feature yet. We'll add that in at some point. Or maybe you want to add in a picture of a bill or like B-roll footage. That's where you can download it. So let's download the video here.
When my dad passed, the bills came fast.
Actually,
$24,000.
To download the video, you can either go to Video Library to download it, or you can download it right from the, I think it should show up in the Create Video section as well. Let's go to the library and then download.
When my dad passed.
It might depend on the device that you're using. This is how it looks for me. Click download. So now it's downloaded. Now there's all different ways you can do this. You can use a tool called Captions. I use Descript, I think is how you say it. So I'm just going to come in here. We'll go to new video project. The nice thing about Descript here is that it turns the transcript into more like a Word doc. So you don't really have to mess with all the stuff down here. You get the transcript here. I'll wait for that to generate and then I'll come back. All right, so here's the script. It looks like it did not cut out the part that I had trimmed, which is fine. So I'll just remove it. So the nice thing here about Descript is you just highlight, backspace it out. Now let's say we want captions here. I'm going to show you a couple little tricks. So first, to get the captions in, you can choose all different types of captions here. I like the 2-word approach. That's what you see a lot of on Facebook. Drops it in, and then we're going to go to like 120, maybe even bigger than that. Let's go to 160. And I'll go 2. And then you can even adjust. I don't want it all to be blue. You can adjust, there's a way to adjust the color of the text that is being spoken, but I don't think I'm going to adjust that. I'll just leave it as white for now. And then, so that's how to get the captions in there. But then there's another thing I like to do to kind of soften the final words in Descript. You can grab this little thing here. I don't even know what it is. Drag it, and then you're going to see it will fade out and create this interesting effect. Now watch.
When my dad passed, the bills.
Yep.
When my dad passed, the bills came fast. $24,000 for a funeral. We went into debt just to bury him. That stress never leaves your family. If you're over 40, check final expense.
So I feel like the way it ended was kind of like a little, I don't know the word to use, rough, or that softens it a bit. And then just one more time I'll play it.
When my dad passed, the bills came fast. $24,000 for a funeral. We went into debt just to bury him. That stress never leaves your family. If you're over 40, check final.
So not too bad. Again, there's ways to improve that, but this is one that I would definitely run with and test. And I think it would do pretty good. We would know for sure once we test it and see the results. So with all that said, we got this done in just under an hour. Thank you for your time if you made it this long. If you have any questions and if you start to use it and have ideas or feedback, or if you run into any issues, feel free to reach out. And I'm more than happy to help you out and get back to you. Thanks.